Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Marianne Dewan, County Superintendent of Schools and the board for the Opportunity Youth Academy. Today is our board meeting number 009. The purpose of this governing board meeting today is to review primarily the Extended Learning Opportunities Grant application. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The time is 4:04, and I am present for the meeting, and I'm taking action to adopt today's agenda as posted. Director Morales, are there any persons present who would like to address the board on items not on the agenda?
Not at this time, Dr. Dewan.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to our consent action item 3A, approval of the minutes for the January 14th, 2021 meeting. And this item is on consent. I have reviewed the minutes and I move to approve those minutes. Next, we'll go to action item 4A to approve the Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant for the Opportunity Youth Academy. And I'd like to ask Director Morales, please provide a presentation on this item.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Dewan. I'm going to share my screen so I can. Oh. Ah, there we are. Wonderful. So this is the Opportunity Academy, our Expanded Learning Opportunities Grants presentation. The Opportunities Learning Grant Opportunities Grant purpose, back on March 26, 2021, the legislator enacted AB 86. It was a COVID relief bill, which offers schools or districts an expanded learning opportunities grant to support learning recovery for California students. Funding is available to support related expenditures incurred for the 2020-21 school year through August of 2022. So these are the focus areas that are available in the opportunities plan: extended learning time, accelerated learning opportunities, integrated pupil support, community learning hubs, credit recovery, additional academic services, and staff training. After we pulled together our stakeholder engagement, so we offered some stakeholder meetings to talk about some of the areas that we felt were important to focus on. We included parents and students, but primarily we worked with our staff. We developed a planning committee of teachers that was led by Rhonda Beasley from Differentiated Assistance and the district support team. What we also did was we put together what they call a jam board. And if I can back up, and I can share what that looks like. Sorry, popping around here. Ah. I apologize for the So what we started to do was look at, well, what is our LCAP that we were considering. We looked at our WASC, we looked at our charter petition, started to think about what were some of the student groups that we felt were important to focus on. that were more affected of the pandemic. We started to look at focus areas, potential focus areas. As you can tell, we focused on our EL, our English learners, our social emotional support, credit recovery, college and career readiness, and then individual, what we call ILP advisories. We had about 4 meetings, and we then looked at, okay, let's really get down and focus on some very specific areas. The first one we really talked a lot about were our English learners and the need to really support them, as they really didn't have all of the in-person supports when we were in distance learning. And so we felt that that was a significant group that really kind of fell behind. And so we wanted to make sure that part of the plan, the ELO plan, was to focus on this student group and providing them supports. We also looked at our social emotional support and the work that our mental health therapists were doing and continued to do during distance learning. And we also looked at our increase in graduation rate. And so after those 3 focus areas that we considered, we let me get back to my presentation here. We wanted to focus on these 3 areas that we felt in our EL population, but we wanted to really think about, okay, well, how much did we really get in the grant? So we had a total of 147,000 is what we received in the grant, 14,000 of which was used or is required to use for our paraeducators and having them help support the work in the grant or in the plan. And then we made sure that we thought, okay, we wanted to do some extended instructional learning time and also credit deficient, because we realized that our students, they come to us credit deficient. The distance learning certainly pushed them back even farther or more credit deficient. And how do we make that up? By providing extended learning time. And so we started to really think about, okay, what should a plan look like? So we first started with extended instructional learning time. And in this plan, we looked at 2 different areas, a math enrichment summer program and an English learner summer program. And the math enrichment, initially we thought it would be an Algebra 1A, and we felt that that was very specific. And we didn't want to just limit students' ability to get some enrichment or support in their math program. So we changed it to a math enrichment summer program for all students. It would be 4 Saturdays, and it would be in a cohort or one-on-one with their teachers. And we would look at completion of course, their completion of their courses, which they would be able to earn 5 credits. We would use a pre and post assessment to see what their math level is when they start the program, and how far or how did they progress at the end of the 4 Saturdays. And then our focus on English learners, another summer program, and that would also include Saturdays. For our English learners, we wanted to be sure that we were working with them both in English and in math. Again, using our pre and post assessments to measure progress. And with this particular group, we would ask or have our Inclusion Collaborative provide some strategies and support to teachers on how do we best serve our English learners in the classroom. And also, Rhonda Beasley would provide some additional professional development to staff in helping develop strategies for our English learners. We also know that, again, we want to focus on credit deficient, students, so this was another area that we felt we would want to provide some additional time. And there are some options to this. We felt that maybe we could provide some Saturday schools for students to come in cohorts, and or we were going to also provide an intersession, so either a week in the winter or the spring, or we could also do extended school days. So either an hour or two after after the school day is done, we would be able to provide some extra support or more time for students to complete credits or complete courses that they couldn't complete while we were in distance learning. Again, we would use our pre and post assessments using STAR, math, and reading, because we want to make sure that even though this is credit recovery, that they're progressing academically as well. The additional academic services for students is through our paraeducators. Our paraeducators would provide support to our students on those Saturdays or extended days. The supports would really be that our paras could do some course review with our students, do some tutoring as needed for our students, and provide support in the classroom or virtually as needed. The coordinated funds with our ELO grant, we were in our SIPSA, our School Action Plan. We have a focus in there for staff development to enhance knowledge and best practices and strategies for our EL classroom models for our students. Increase work time for staff. Again, this also is aligned with having our staff give extra time one-on-one or in cohorts, extended time after school days, independent learning planning advisory meetings. These meetings are quarter meetings, very important for all of our students, but specifically for our student groups like our English learners, our foster youth, our low-income students. A time to stop, if you will, the progress, to look at our students' attendance, our students' credit earn, their graduation progress, assessment, review data assessment, and then be able to adjust their plan, as they move forward. And then really bringing in and using Inclusion Collaborative to help universal design for learning training for our teachers, but also continue to support our paras as they are still growing and working on their second associate credential in universal design for learning. And that is my presentation, Dr. Dewan, and I'm certainly looking forward to some questions and feedback.
Thank you so much, Director Morales. I'm wondering if some of the specifics that you mentioned in your presentation related to the supports could also be detailed in the plan.
Okay. So a clarifying question, specifically, would you like, and I'm thinking now maybe lesson planning, very specific types of strategies that we would use in Saturday school and some of those extended hours. Is that what you're thinking?
So for example, you described that, it could be some Saturday schools, some extended day, it could be some intersession. Mm-hmm. I think those need to be articulated in the plan as you did today in the presentation.
Okay.
Just remembering who the audience for the plan will be and making it as clear as to how those funds are being allocated to achieve the goals that you described.
Okay.
I think would enhance the plan's readability and support us in meeting the requirements that the state will have for us in terms of reporting back how these funds were utilized. Okay,
I will do that.
I did have a question about the English learners training. I see, for example, in the plan, there was a mention of staff development for the ESL, ELL classroom models.
Mhm.
And will that staff development be provided by the team in our office who is responsible for ESL, ELL?
That's correct. And I have reached out to that department and have asked for some support on providing professional development for our teachers. And that would definitely be kind of more of a long-term plan, a long-term goal with support from specific UDL Inclusion Collaborative. So a combination of the two. Yes.
Okay. So that would be like from the professional learning team, the multilingual services department, the EL specialist.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then on the staff development mentioned on the blended learning strategies. If you might just share with me a bit your vision for how that will be provided.
So that would be provided by Sciatech, our ongoing work with them. We started the blended learning discussion with Sciatech years ago. Our staff, teachers, in fact, our entire staff went through blended learning certification. We do use the flex model, but there's always at the beginning of the year, every year, Sciatech provides a kind of an update on some of those strategies in the blended learning models. What worked, how do we improve some of those strategies? So there's always kind of an update and review of blended learning. And also as you know, we're kind of pulling out of distance learning, we start looking at other models. Sometimes flex model doesn't always work for just one particular site. There might be some other types of models that we could use. But we're always looking at some of those blended learning strategies and models and how do we adjust.
So that could include increasing the amount of time that students have face-to-face access to their teacher, and perhaps also with their peers in learning groups or workshops.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And again, what we did with Sciatech when we started to look at cohorts and building cohorts for specifically math and English, our teachers started to put together lesson plans that they could share to support students in those cohorts, Kickstarter lesson plans. So, and that was work that was done in collaboration with Sciatech and the professional development that they provided. So yes, so that giving teachers time to even do that lesson planning is part of the plan that we actually have in our SIPSA and our LCAP.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with me about the extended learning opportunities grant?
Other than that, this was really developed by the staff, and we'll continue. We've had set up some more times with Rhonda Beasley to continue to look at this plan, and then also some built-in times to review after we do some of the summer program work. How did that work out? Is there things that in this that we can keep and continue to use? What I'm really excited about is the use of RenStar as pre and posts, and continuing that with our students even for next year, and doing some, from this discussion, we started to really talk about, I think we need some work in the area of how do you read data? How does data help inform what we do in the classroom? How does it inform our decision making, not just in academics, but in all parts of OYA? So we're really excited about learning more about that and using some of those tools.
Okay, thank you. So I'd be happy, first of all, just to congratulate the staff and thank them. I know that there's been a lot on everyone's plates, and to have both this opportunity but additional workload related to this grant. So I'm very appreciative of the staff's time and input on the project. I would like to make a request before I take action to approve it, to have you incorporate into the template some of the specifics that you described verbally here today. So when I take action to approve the plan, I'll be doing that pending the amendments to the template to more accurately reflect the specifics that were shared during the presentation. This would be in the narrative and also on the expenditures page as shown on slide number 4. So when, for example, you mention extending instructional learning time, if you could describe a bit more on that page, just some additional descriptors that you already know and that you've already shared with me, just to ensure that they're included on the template for the average reader.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, then I'll take action to approve this plan with amendments to be provided by staff, and the amended plan will be the approved plan for submission.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Dewan.
And again, thanks to everyone for the team. And then just lastly, an encouragement to consider ways in which more members of the professional learning and instructional support division could be providing support or coaching or keeping you and the OYA staff apprised of workshops. I feel that you have this rich opportunity to connect with for example, the math team is doing some really deep work around equity and social justice in math. And it's just so beautifully aligned to our mission around Opportunity Youth Academy that I think there could be some really powerful alignments there. Also, the multilingual work from the multilingual team, I think there's some great connections there. And then with some computer science and the blended learning work that Craig Blackburn and Karen Larson and others are doing would be, I think, important enhancements for you and the team. So really thinking about leveraging that relationship and the work with professional learning.
Okay. Thank you.
It'd be really powerful. So
yeah.
Thank you for that.
Of course.
So next we'll go to our next agenda item, which is an update on enrollment.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Dewan. I just wanted to just kind of give you some information on our current enrollment. Actually, when I sent this over, our enrollment has increased. So as it always does. So we are probably right around 345 is our enrollment. Our current attendance is 70%. So 243 or 238, I believe, is where we're at. I try to keep looking at that weekly and looking at kind of the trends. We are receiving a lot of calls from districts interested in our 220 graduation track. And so we're looking at potentially more students coming to us that are looking for that 220 track. We're probably receiving between 30 to 40 applications a month at this point. And so it's starting to rev up, and which is great. And we're still, and that's without really marketing anything at this point. And that's a lot of it is by word of mouth. And so we're just excited that we're ending the year and we're graduating students, but our enrollment is looking pretty strong as we end the year, but also stronger for next year. And I wanted to share with you that we have at the end, as of today, we have 9 students that have been duly enrolled, and 59 of our OYA graduates are currently in community college, and we are supporting them at this point. And then also want to let you know that one of our former graduates is going to Berkeley, has got accepted to Berkeley, and so we're very proud of her. And she was actually a student at the ribbon cutting in Gilroy, and so we are just extremely proud of her. She's working at the hub. She's interning there with social services, and we've asked her to speak at our graduation, this year's graduation, and so she's very happy to do so. So we're just excited about the growth of our students and what's happening in OYA, and the teachers and the staff are doing a fantastic job. And so I always like to share the accomplishments with you and let you know all that.
That's wonderful. I also heard that one of our graduates is going to be an employee as well.
That's correct. Yes, and we're very excited about that too. And actually, we're looking at filling some of the substitute positions as well, and at the county office. So I'm working with Shami on getting some information out to our students to take up some substitute positions in some of the departments at the county office.
Yes, that was the vision. So it's really nice to see it coming to fruition.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for the update. Seeing no other items, and I'm assuming no public comments were registered for any agenda items.
That's correct. No public comments.
Okay. Then I'll take action to adjourn today's meeting. And again, thank you for your leadership. And I want to thank Blanca Morales for all of her support, and to really thank the OYA staff for the incredible difference that you all make for our students.
Thank you, Dr. Dewan. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.